Hi, it's Mo. It is April 7th. It's my dad's birthday. And I started reading my March TBR Spin book. So I am behind on the TBR Spin. The TBR Spin is a booktube game that Sarah from Freshly Read Books runs, and it is a very simple game. I highly recommend you join us. It's a way to read down your TBR. It's a TBR busting game. So at the beginning of the year, we pick 12 books and Sarah spins a wheel with prompts on it. She does a live show to spin this wheel, so you can also finish reading your prior book or continue reading your prior month's book, or you can start the new month's book. She spins this wheel with prompts on it. The prompts lead us to pick a book off of our stack of 12. So in January we had 12 books, she spun the wheel, and then we picked a book and read it. And so in February we had 11 books. Sarah spun a wheel, it led us to a book, we read it. In March now we have 10 books, etc., etc. A lot of times the prompts will lead you to swap out a book. Maybe the prompt doesn't fit, but you can kind of force the prompt to do whatever you want, to read whatever you want. So I vlog all of my TBR Spin books. The TBR Spin has been going on for the last 2 years. Before that, there was a game called TBR Tackle, which had a very similar premise. Before that, there was a game called the Booktube Spin, which had a very similar premise. So I've been doing a game like this for at least 4 or 5 years. I think 5 years now, which is a long time. And it doesn't get old. It doesn't get boring. It's super fun. I highly recommend you check out Freshly Read Books channel. I love all of her videos. Like I said, I vlog all my TBR Spin books, and at the end of my February book, I watched the March TBR Spin. I always read the book in the vlog and then watch the spin at the end and then pick my new book. Except at the end of the February vlog, I wasn't sure which book I was going to pick, but I did end up picking The Dead Take the A Train by Cassandra Khaw and Richard Kadrey. I am reading this book on audio, and I'm not very far in at all. I'm like an eighth of the way in, and so far we're following our main character, Julie Cruz, which I definitely wonder if that is a reference to the singer-songwriter Julie Cruz, who did famously the Twin Peaks theme song. She seems to be some sort of supernatural hunter, some sort of bounty hunter of some variety. She lives in New York, and when we first meet her in the very first chapter, she is at a bachelorette party that she was invited to go to, but paid to go to exorcise a demon that had occupied the bride. While she's doing all this, she realizes that the mother of the bride only wants one demon exorcised, but there's something else going on with the bride. They're breeding something inside of the bride, which is pretty gross. That's all happens like within the first chapter, so I don't think it's a spoiler, but I do wonder if it's going to come back into play later. There's a lot of supernatural, cosmic horror type things happening in this book so far. We also meet Julie's ex-boyfriend, who now works for like corporate demon, almost like accounting firm, and he sometimes hires Julie. She is definitely a person who lives job to job, lives hand to mouth, does a lot of drugs, does a lot of drinking, gets herself in trouble, gets injured, things like that. And so she kind of relies on whoever will give her a job to make money and to keep going with her life. It's funny because she does remind me a little bit of Claire DeWitt, which I just read all 3 of the Claire DeWitt novels this year. Well, 2 of them this year. And I love that character so much. I'm not as compelled towards this character as much yet, but obviously I'm not very far along in the book. This is a chunky book. I think it's like 400 and some pages. No, just under 400 pages. But like I said, I'm reading it on audio. So far, I'm enjoying it, and I definitely plan on continuing. I picked this book because the prompt was for a cover by, and although I had already wanted to read this one, I do think this is an absolutely beautiful cover. So as I read more, I will definitely let you know, but I don't know what like the plot of this book is yet. Like I don't know what Julie's kind of mission is going to be, but since she is hunting demons and since she is dealing with her not very nice ex-boyfriend, I wonder if all those things are going to come into play later in the book. This is an ARC I got for $1 at my local used bookstore, and I'm excited to read more. I'm back and I have finished The Dead Take the A Train. This was surprisingly quick to get through considering it's so long. 390 pages. I enjoyed this one. I thought it was fun. It was too long. There was definitely a lot of repetition, and there's like a slow burn romance in here that was like too slow burn in that it was very repetitious, so you could have cut out a lot of that, you know what I mean? And I do think that there's a lot of characters introduced who you follow for small amounts of time. Now, I believe that's setting us up for the second in this series. I think this is just supposed to be a duology, but it definitely read more like the first of a longer running series, or maybe like a group of companion duologies. So in this one, we're following Julie, who is a demon hunter, bounty hunter, kind of rogue person who takes jobs for her very slimy and disgusting ex. So, and then in the beginning of the book, we kind of learn that relationship. And really not until the second quarter of this book do we really get into the meat of the story of this book. So there's just a lot of setup that I think could have been consolidated or made more concise or made a little bit more streamlined. And then our main story is that a friend who Julie has known since childhood, but who's been kept separated from Julie by the friend's boyfriend, turns up at Julie's door, and then we see a larger kind of plot getting taken care of. And at the end of this book, we see that part of that, most of that plot kind of getting taken care of, but there being obviously things that are going to have to go on in the next to solve like the remainder of that and to resolve some of the things that happen in this plot. But it's mostly Julie and her found family of friends and her love interests, like figuring out what to do about all these things, working together, becoming this found family, becoming this team. And then on the other side, we see a lot of nefarious characters and kind of what they're doing and what's happening behind the scenes to threaten Manhattan, New York, and the world. Ideally, Julie and her found family are going to solve all those problems at some point. This book did make me tear up. There was just like one little moment where I was like, oh no, that's so sad. And I did like the love story in this, but like I said, it was very like slow burn, and it was just repetitively slow burn. Not like you're getting to know these characters, oh my god, you want them to kiss. It was more like, this is dumb. Like, why are we just saying the same things over and over again? But I did enjoy it. I will definitely read the second in this duology or more in this series if that's what this turns out to be. I think I would definitely read them on audio just because it's fairly fast-paced, but I think if I were reading it physically, I would have gotten bored, whereas reading it on audio, I definitely didn't get bored, and I really enjoyed it. I liked the New York setting. I thought it could have been a little bit more New York-y. I mean, it definitely was New York, and they talk about Grand Central Station and other places like that, but it wasn't... Those aspects of it did feel New York to me, like talking about Grand Central Station and the things that were mentioned and the description was great. But the rest of it kind of wasn't as New York-y as I would like. Considering that this is very, very, very much like a New York book, I wish there was a little bit more New York City in it. I like the characters, I like the found family. The bad characters were really bad and you really hated them, which was fun. And some people got their like comeuppance, which was good. I like the writing. It's always interesting when you have co-writers to know like which parts are what. There's definitely violence in this. There's definitely gore in this. There's definitely harsh language in this, but it wasn't like super horror. It wasn't scary to me. It was a little gross, but even the gross parts were kind of cosmic horror feeling grossness, so it didn't really bother me in the way that like a more real to life horror would bother me. So, super glad to have finished this. And now it's time to talk about the April pick for TBR Spin. It's only April 13th, so I can definitely catch up. I could read my April book in April and we will be caught up. I think my vlogs will be a little bit behind because I haven't even edited my February vlog yet. And here I am finishing my March vlog. So let's look at my stack of books. I have Sarah's live video all queued up. I might have to skip around a little to find the actual spin. Super glad to have read The Dead Take the A Train. Let's see what's next for the TBR spin. First off on my TBR spin list, I have Love by Toni Morrison, but this one is a place marker for the next Toni Morrison that I have to read. So if I decide that a Toni Morrison is the book that I want to read, I will be thinking of The Songs of Solomon because that's my next Toni Morrison that I have to read. Then I have The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, Begin Again, James Baldwin's America and Its Urgent Lessons for Our Own by Eddie S. Glaude. I'm kind of in the mood for this, so this might be a good one. The Turquoise Ledge by Leslie Marmon Silko. I would definitely like to read a memoir. I just read a biography and I feel like a memoir would be nice to read. Similarly, I have The Life of Olode Aquino, which is a slave narrative. I thought I could get this one on audio. I can't, but it's not very long, so I would like to read this one as well. Spy Family by Tetsuya Endo, 8 Men by Richard Wright, How to Pronounce Knife by Suvankam Themavangsa, and Cain by Jean Toomer. So this is the one that I keep saying I'm going to read and I haven't read. This is a very short one, so I would definitely also like to read that one. Let's watch Sarah's video.
Hi! I was going to say good morning, but it is not morning for everybody.
Sarah saying that she read The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin for her last spin book, which I really loved, and I'm glad that she liked it as well, and she's excited to read more, so that's super fun. Ooh, okay. So the spin was a book you've seen the most hype about, either current or in the past. So definitely not Cain by Jean Toomer. I've actually only heard bad things about How to Pronounce Knife. Both Books and Lala I don't think really like this. And who was the other person that didn't really like this? Oh, Jen. Jen from, why can't I think of her channel name? I don't know. She's amazing. She also didn't really like this one. So that is not a lot of hype. Never heard anything about this. I mean, slave narratives, I don't think you're getting a lot of hype. Never heard anything about this. Never heard anything about this. Now, The Sentence was on the Women's Prize, and I think it won the Women's Prize that year, or at least it was nominated. That I definitely would consider getting a lot of hype. Toni Morrison, I would say, gets a lot of hype, but like deservedly so, but I don't think Song of Solomon is like the book that she gets hype for. And then I would say that I think actually the most hype that I've ever seen a book get out of my stack is Spy Family, because so many different readers read manga and so many different readers love Spy Family. Like I know, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to think of anybody's name. I'm like totally not with it. I don't know what's happening. I will put her name down here. I think like Spy Family, or at least read quite a bit of Spy Family. She reads a lot of manga. I love her videos. I love her channel. I feel like Criminali really liked Spy Family, so a lot of people like Spy Family. I think this is the most hyped book. Now, we've never read a graphic novel for a TBR spin. This would definitely put us back on track. This would definitely be a quick one to read, and then therefore we could do the spins for May at the May time. I'm going to be going away in the beginning of May, so it might be good to get that over with like in the first week, the spin at least, and then I can bring the book with me to Arizona where I'm going. So yeah, I think I'm gonna read Spy Family. I don't know if I've ever actually read a proper manga that's going the right way. I've definitely read Americanized versions of manga that are read this way, and I've definitely had mangas that went this way, but I don't know if I've ever actually read one. I am excited to read Spy Family. I think this will be fun, and maybe what we'll do in that vlog is like talk about some comics. I think that would be a fun idea too. Okay, great. This is our April pick, and it's only April 13th, so I think we'll get through it. Sarah from Freshly Read Books is actually doing sprints right now, so I might hop on some of those sprints and start my April book. The sprints that Sarah's doing is not the spin sprint, it's just like the extra sprints she does during the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're participating in the TBR spin, let me know what you got for April. If you read manga, and if you've read Spy Family, definitely let me know what you think of that. If you read horror and you read The Dead Take the A Train, definitely let me know what you thought of that. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!